In this video, we cover how to target a true predator of the surf, the infamous bluefish. Where bluefish can be found will be the first aspect we cover, followed by ideal conditions. We'll also cover some casting tips and other methods to give you the edge. We'll then show you an ideal tackle setup, followed by some suitable baits. So where can bluefish be found? Bluefish can be found all the way along the eastern coast, ranging as far north as Maine all the way down to Florida, with New Jersey and the Chesapeake Bay being a renowned area for this species. The Atlantic coast as a whole is where the best-sized bluefish are typically found, though smaller specimens can also be found along the Gulf Coast from Florida and as far west as Texas. So what are ideal bluefish conditions? For their northern range of Maine, New Jersey, and Delmarva, they can typically be caught from the shore between the months of April and October, depending on the exact area of coastline. By late fall, they migrate back down south and can be caught from Carolina, Florida, and the Gulf Coast between the months of October to April. Again, the exact seasonal window will depend on which state you are fishing. The spring and fall periods are the key migratory periods, and it's during these times the surf fishing can be at its best. As with many species, you can catch bluefish on many sizes of tide, though for the simple reason that larger tides will tend to bring in larger amounts of bait fish on the current. It's these types of tide that have the potential to be more productive. Just remember that not all venues will be fishable on large tides. Bluefish are actually caught on both the flood and the ebb, though ebb fishing will likely be mostly more productive when fishing within or nearby an estuary, such as the Chesapeake Bay. For open coast-style venues, the flood tide between low and high will typically bring the best results. Another point specific to estuaries, bluefish will not tolerate lower salinity levels, so it's wise to avoid fishing in or around them if there has been recent heavy rain. An easy to moderate surf will be the ideal wave action, as this will allow them to better pick off any bait fish. Low light levels will also provide ideal hunting conditions, so overcast skies or fishing around sunrise or sunset can be more effective when targeting this species. So in terms of casting, what will better our chances? Bluefish will readily come into shallow water as long as it's deep enough to hold bait fish. Any structure such as around pier foundations will attract bait fish, as this provides places for them to hold up and feed. As a result, the bluefish will often follow. The inclines of sandbars can be excellent features to cast to, as bluefish will use them to harry schools of bait fish so they can zero in on their prey. Casting near cuts between sandbars will put you near spots where bluefish will often be waiting in ambush for bait fish, being drawn through by current. Bluefish will often harry bait fish to the surface, so keep an eye out for diving birds, as this may highlight where the bluefish are currently feeding. So let's take a look at an ideal tackle setup for the species. A typical medium power surf rod will do just fine, though you can consider going lighter if you so wish. Use a rod of anywhere between 7 to 10 feet in length. You can cast as little as 3/4 of an ounce in easy enough conditions. But if wind and wave action is a little fierce, you may need to cast as high as 4 ounces. So a rod that can handle this would be ideal. A spinning or fixed spool reel of around 4,000 size or more will work well. 15 pounds mainline would be a sensible option, though you have the option to go lower for maximum sport. Consider scaling up to 20 pounds if using braid. As ever, if power casting at any time, be sure to use a casting leader with enough breaking strain to support the load of the cast. There is actually more than one rig type that goes by the name Bluefish Rig. This variant is essentially a fish finder rig, which uses a wire trace instead of mono or fluorocarbon due to the very sharp teeth of this species. A pyramid sinker anywhere between 3/4 of an ounce to 4 ounces would typically be used, and this would be attached using a sliding sinker boom, giving maximum bite detection. The wire hook length itself would be around 40 pounds breaking strain and a length of anywhere between 20 to 40 inches long. Use a J-hook of anywhere between size 2.0 to size 5.0 depending on the bait you wish to cast. So what would be some ideal baits for bluefish? They will readily take many types of cut chunks of fish bait from various species including, but not limited to, mullet, menhaden, and ladyfish. Whole fish baits also work very well, such as whole anchovy baits. Squid baits can also work well, and shrimp baits are another effective alternative to fish baits. As ever, we always remind you to check the local regulations of any state you wish to fish for factors such as open seasons and catch limitations. Want to know how to target striped bass or red drum from the surf? Check out the videos showing now. We also have plenty more on our channel page, so feel free to browse through our selection. Be sure to click subscribe to stay notified of future videos and to show your support. We hope to see you soon.